Before I started to be interested in animation, I was already very involved in the film production. I decided to make my own films without having any budget. I made my own music to this small film, and I play by myself. And I developed this small film in my bathroom. I like this film, but the film critics, they, for some reason, they love this film and they provoked me to send this film to film festival. One of the judges was Norman McLaren, a Canadian filmmaker, and he loved this film as well. Such a way, I got the third prize. Actually, I was sharing the third prize with Roman Polanski. This was my first animated film. I would like to say something making films. I wanted to say something about the Holocaust, or about rather life or death of my mother. In such a way, the next animated film, which got a lot of prizes around the world, and the name was We Shall Never Die. This was my message, because we will never die. Those people, that we love them, they will never die for us. In the 1950s, I came to Israel and I produced the first animated film in Israel, Joseph the Dreamer. And the government, Israeli government, was very helpful. They support us. But finally, I decided to leave Israel to a country where there is no war. We have been sending our experimental films to Melbourne Film Festival. We have been getting prizes. One of the famous critics, he was writing, "Such a filmmakers we need here." Therefore, we came to Australia.
Together we decided that as at the time there were no Australian films that were directed to children, that will be the line of thought that we will choose.
One of our friends told us about a very old book, over 100 years old, Dot and the Kangaroo.
And we as migrants saw the opportunity of telling a truly Australian story about a little girl lost in the bush and a kangaroo.
Just step into my pouch and I'll hop you down to the waterhole in no time.
We have been lucky. We brought with us to Australia aerial image projector, very unknown film equipment. It was possible to photograph Blue Mountains or another background, and on top of this background to put animated cartoons. It was not something new, but very unusual. Today you don't use those equipments because today you have a computer which is doing this job much better than aerial image. Those days, aerial image projector was magic.
But I curl up inside just enjoying the view as I ride in the pouch of a red kangaroo.
As she rides in the pouch.
When we completed Dot and the Kangaroo, it went to cinema. And as with many Australian films, it had a very limited run. Yoram had then the idea of creating a distribution company. If the kids cannot come to the cinema, we will take the cinema to the kids. We then created a company called Young Australia Films, we occupied 30 projectionists, gave them the print of Dot and the Kangaroo, and they traveled from one town to another in big cities, in clubs, and in the schools themselves.
I was very proud that those films are going to schools in very, very small towns.
After that, it was The Little Convict, Blinky Bill, Epic, Camel Boy, all concentrate around Australian landscape and Australian stories.
Blinky Bill originally had such a complicated trousers that I was thinking that it would be very, very bad. Do you remember?
Yes.
It was very, very bad to animate his trousers. It was, incredible. But you suggested, don't worry, change his trousers. And, this is what we have done.
And modern Australian kids remember our designs of Blinky Bill rather than the ones before, where their parents remembered. Later, when we produced the television series based on Blinky Bill, each episode had some conservation concept behind, whether it was a question of freedom, whether a question of the protection of the environment.
I can smell burning. Fire! Look!
Yoram stories are always laced with moral conclusions that are positive to contribute to a child's positive understanding of life's issues. We are concentrating on Art Alive, which is a series of films for very young children, as well as illustrated music that Yoram creates together with a very small crew. Very creative and very experimental.
I'm still learning, and still trying to make a better film than the last one.